In this session we can see 8th module. So 8th module we have to discuss form validation, then custom validation, AngularJS Ajax. This topic we can cover in $HTTP service for making Ajax calendar. So in 8th module mainly we are discussing form validation and custom validation. First we will see form validation, how we can do form validation. Okay, right. So one more thing here. So in lab experiments, these are the requirements. So the Windows System 7 and higher version and AngularJS library we need, and Tomcat server need while you are using this $HTTP and all. And we can use text editor or IDE supports JavaScript like Node++ or Eclipse and Notepad. Okay, till now we have seen Notepad. In this example I will explain with Eclipse. Okay, Eclipse IDE. First we will see form validation. What are the rules we need to know about this form validation? Okay, so these are the below steps which we need to follow to carry out Angular validation. First step is what? So use no validate property when declaring the form. While you are declaring the form, what property we need to use? No validate attribute we need to use. This property tells to the HTML file the validation would be done by AngularJS. So as AngularJS I will take care of validation. So please you keep calm. So HTML5 will do automatic validation, right? Default validations. So we are saying that means as a AngularJS we are saying to HTML5. So we will take care of validation. Okay. Next, first for doing that we need to mention the property called no validate. So where we need to mention it is in the form. Okay. Next, the form tag. Next step is what? Ensure that the form has name defined for it. Form should have the form name. The reason for doing this is that when carrying out Angular validation, the form name will be used while you are doing validation. So form name will be used. Next, third step, ensure each control also has a name defined for it. So controller also we should give the name. So the reason for doing is that when carrying out Angular validation, the controller name will be used. Controller name also we are using. The fourth step is remember here we are using ng show directive to check for $.t, $invalid, $valid properties for the controls. See. So this is the example I am going to show you. Form validation. For typing it will take more time. So I should complete within 5 minutes. So copying this one, copy all the code, okay, copy the code. Next to go to Eclipse IDE. I have downloaded Eclipse IDE here. You can double click, will open. Okay, so go to file. You can create project here. So file, new, dynamic web project. Use some project name here, Angular project 1. Okay, then click on next. Next, automatically the structure will be created. Click on generate web.xml, then finish it. So automatically it will create one folder structure. So where you can find web apps folder. So expand it within the web.inf you will find a lib folder where you can add JS and all. So if you are writing AngularJS, you need AngularJS file, right? So AngularJS.org, go to there. You can use either CDN or offline also. for doing offline, you need to follow this procedure. Click on download AngularJS. So browsing. So now you can find the CDN. So you can click on this download button. So you can find this all code. Okay. So first whatever I copied, so automatically the folder structure has created here, right? So observe folder structure, click on src main web apps. See web apps folder you have find, right? So now click on web app, right click. So it is taking some time. So click new. So whatever the file is HTML, right? Click on HTML. Then give some name, form validation, example. Okay, next, then finish. Just whatever you have copied, just control E, paste here. Oh, now it is also taking some time, right, for understanding this code and all. So here you should have the code for this AngularJS. So for that we have already opened, right? Copy this all the code, Control A, Control C. Now again here you can right click on this new, go to others, search for JavaScript. Next click on this one, next, then give the file name Angular, finish. So in this file you can paste all the code which you have copied from the internet. Control A, Control V, Control S. So first you have accessed angular.js. This is the folder structure you need to maintain. Angular.js we can add head closed, then body opened. So I have taken div tag. So you may see here div tag. So we are initializing Angular framework by using ng-app directive attribute. App name is main app. Then controller, controller name student controller. Then I have taken form having name. That name is called student form. So we are using what? No validate. That means we are saying to HTML file. So AngularJS will take care of this validation. Next I am taking one table, giving border 2, then table row, the table data having enter first name. So input type text and name equal to first name. Next ng model first name is required, and see the span tag. Within the span tag we are applying color, red color, and we are using ng show attribute, directive attribute. So which we are providing validation here. So for providing validation for this text field, this input text field, so where it is available? Within the student form. We are using student form name here. Form name we are using form name dot field name is what? First name. So first name dot $.t. If any modification, so it will returns true. Okay, it will check any modification are there or not there. Then $invalid, the data is valid or not. If invalid, then it will returns true. So for doing validate, we are using this $dirty and $invalid. So by using this form name and field name. Okay, next see the span tag. Next span tag, student form dot first name dot dollar error reference, it contains any error or not. So if it is error, if it is no error, then it shows error requires the flower braces. So first name is required, this message we are displaying. Okay, if $dirty and $invalid and dollar error required, then it should display first name is required message. Okay, so this is about first name. Then take enter last name. Same last name input type text to name equal to last name and ng model last name required span tag we have taken the red color. So style red color ng show student form dot last name dirty and $invalid, then span error message last error required, the last name is required. Same thing for email also. Email input type email, then ng model email length required 1000 and span tag we have written validation. See color we are providing red color for the text and we are validating by using $dirty and $invalid and error message. See error email is required. For next email, whether it is a valid email or invalid email, we'll check where a character should be a first character, starting should be character and at the rate special letter should be there. After that we should have one character. So this is the email validation, right? It will check that one. So $error dot email. Okay, so next table row. So we are using one button, reset button one, and another button, the button name is submit button. So while reset, it will call reset function. Okay, so we are writing code for that in JavaScript, means in AngularJS. So a submit button, so when it should be disabled, when it should be enabled, we are writing that validation here. So first name, how we are getting first name? Student dot first name dot $dirty $invalid or student form dot see student form dot last name dot $dirty or under student form dot last name is invalid or student form dot email dot dirty and uh, student form that email are invalid. So then it should be in the disabled position. If first name invalid, last name invalid or email invalid, whatever happens, so then the button submit button should be in the disabled position while you are clicking, so it will check this validation and that. So all will be true, then means if you are giving valid data, then it should be enabled, submit button will be enabled. Okay, so table closed, form closed, button closed, div closed. Okay, then we can start the script. Script how what we are writing. So we are creating module and controller. So reset functionality we are performing here. So if you are clicking on reset, what should display? Sivakumar and last name Ramagoni and the email address sivakumar.ramagoni@gmail.com. So while you are clicking on reset button, it should display. So we are calling $scope.reset. Okay, script closed, HTML closed, $scope.reset, Control S. So why we are writing this one means every time we need to call reset. See the code, this one code here. Okay, see the output. Now you can right click on this, right click, open with browser directly. If you are not using a server, if you are using server also, you can run on server. So I have already deployed Apache Tomcat server. So next, then finish. Or directly you can open with browser also, right click, open with any browser. Okay, right, both you can do. See, so this is the output we can get. This open with browser, and this one for running our project. Okay, see here. So submit button enabled, reset button is enabled. See, I'm removing this Sivakumar. See, first name is required, last name is required. You are giving empty, email is required. If you are writing some valid email ID, some data, even what is showing invalid email ID, not that email is required. If you are enter something invalid email, why a character and a symbol should be there and another character should be there, then it will valid email. Okay, then it is not enabled, right? Every field should be required here. Okay, so that we can enter the name, first name and the last name, then submit button will be enabled. Okay, so reset functionality. So if you are clicking on reset button, what should be the fields should contains the default values, first name Shivakumar, last name Ramagoni, and the email ID shivakumarramagoni@gmail.com, right? So click on reset, you will get the details. So while you are clicking reset functionality, you want to show only the empty values, empty data, then you can use here empty. The values you can initialize empty. So this reset functionality having empty, then see here, refresh, empty. While you are entering invalid email ID. If you are removing this one, you can find the validation in this one. Okay, @gmail something, then submit it. If you want to reset, you can reset the data. Okay, alright, in this way you can validate it. So finally we have used reset, right? Every time while you are changing the data, you should call reset, right? That's why I called it reset functionality by using these dollar scopes here. Okay, I think you understood. For this you need to practice, then you can understand easily. So in this way we can create a project by using Eclipse ID. So AngularJS project structure you can observe here. Okay, right. Next, next thing here we need to discuss. The second thing is what? Custom validation. How we can do custom validation? So custom validation, we need to follow some rules here for doing custom validation. See, custom validation, to create own validation function, we have to add a new directive to the application. Okay, we need to add some new directive and deal with the validation inside the function with the certain specific arguments. We need to give some arguments, okay, which we will discuss in example. Create own directive and contain a custom validation function and refer to it by using my-directive. Okay, three things you need to remember: create own directive containing custom validation function, and it refer to by using my-directive. See, for example, we are looking for R in input field. We are looking for R in the input field. So that means we are searching R element in the text box. So we are giving some word. So in that word, whether the R element is available or not, we'll check. If it is available, it returns true. Otherwise, it returns false only. Okay, that examples we can see here. Okay, so looking for R. Already I have some examples which I have created. AngularJS examples. Looking for R, right click, open with the notepad, and right click, open with Chrome browser. So output you can see here. First you can understand the output, then you can write the code. See, so I am giving some word, Siva Kumar. So it is showing false only. Okay, we are looking for not small r, we are looking for capital R. Okay, it's a case sensitive. While you are while you are entering any word, in that word, if the word contains R letter, capital R letter, then it returns automatically true. Okay, so that's what we are trying to write code in AngularJS. Okay, see, false, then capital R, something. Okay, right, that's I'm trying to do here. For that we need to write the code like this. See the code. uh, so AngularJS we have loaded, initialized Angular framework, module name my app, then we are creating one form name my form, then we are creating one text field in box that's required, and we are using what here, my directive. We need to use my directive. Okay, we need to create like this. How to create directive in this way. Then we have closed the form. So validate it. For validating, what we need to do, form name dot input field name is what, my input, or ng-module my input dot valid. Is valid or not? If it is valid, if you are entering something, it is valid. Then module, we have created module, and we are creating directive, right? So directive name is my directive. So app dot directive of my directive, which we have given here, my directive. So for the case sensitive, sorry, case we have written like this only, my directive. Okay, so then function that returns uh, in this way, required, need to remember, required ng model, which represents the model data. Then link colon function that contains four parameters, scope, element, attribute, and my control, which represents the controller. Next function, then the function name my validation, we are passing value, right? So what are the value we are passing in the text field, that value comes here. So that value comes here. Then if value dot index of r greater than -1, then we are setting to this controller dot set validity. By using $set validity, we are adding this one, true or false. So carry true, else my controller dot $set validity carry false. Okay, if r value available in this word, then it will return true value, otherwise it will return false value. That means we are setting this true or false to the controller. Finally we are returning that value. So how we can add that one means, see, we need to use parsers. So my controller dot parsers of push of my validation. Every time we are changing the data, right, every time we need to call this one, and we need to parse, and we need to push this validation function to parse from the controller. Okay, so for this we need to write the statement here. Okay, so this way we can find the element. We can look at element in the given word, then ram, which will return true. Okay, R is available, then it returns true. That's what we can write example for custom validation. Not only this, you can write any example I have given. Looking for or in input field. This is about custom validation. This we need to remember here. To create one validation function, we have to add a new directive. So that is my directive, and deal with the validation inside the function. We have created function with the specific arguments, okay, which we have discussed on. Okay. That's all about today's session. We'll meet in the next session. Thank you.